So we're here again. Yes, another day of promotion. Again, what we're promoting. Okay, are you strong enough to handle the truth? Yep, so are you strong enough to handle the truth? Again, in all the strong people. Again, those that, again, and this is a real situation. So are you strong enough? I don't know, only strong people would definitely know what's going on. Only strong people. So only strong people would be available. All the weak people would be turned away because, again, TikTok and media does not support strong people. So it's about to break. I'm saying all the lies, all the spells, everything that has been done to humanity to separate them. And due to the fact that, again, those people that identify themselves as white is leading the example of humanity, and it has not been good. And again, majority of people that identify as white don't know where the identification come from. Again, they would have weak reasons. And it has been deliberately done to weaken people that identify as white, because if they know where their identity come from, they would have more respect, appreciation for who provided to them, because it was a time of extinction when it comes about. So we have to now know the truth so that humanity can, again, get more stable. Because right now, again, the world that we're living in is unstable based on lack of information, lack of knowledge, just weakness. They have devised to program you to be weak, and we want strong people. So majority of people that identify as white, again, obviously they have been programmed to be weak, more weaker than others. Yeah. So, and all of the identification that has been used is all fake. It's not real. The reality is crumbling. So again, your future generation will definitely hate you for not being strong, because I know that nobody don't really respect people that are weak, able to be strong, be able to have understanding, wisdom, knowledge. They're gonna hate you. So for the strong ones, because there are strong people that are strongly educated, strongly knowledgeable, strongly reasonable, you get me, that identify as white, and again, that want to make a change or a better or more positive example. So I'm here to assist. I'm here to, again, give you the truth, but you have to be strong enough. That's the one thing. You have to be strong enough to find out. Because like I said, I guarantee you that one of the most ignorant things is that I was born like this. I guess I give you an understanding. If you was born like this, then you're claiming that you identifying as white, you have only been existed for 400 years. So to be only in existence for 400 years, if you claim, no, definitely not. So again, to identify as a color, like I say, that is one of the weakest things that you could identify. You're just segregating all of your lineage, your bloodline, all of your culture, your heritage. It's very weak. That's what I'm saying. We have been programmed to be weak. It's a very deceptive program. It's an evil program. Like I say, If you say that you identify as white, then you're saying that you're so weak, you understand, because you don't have no knowledge of where it's coming from, because you're saying that you've only been in existence for 400 years. Think about this. 400 years. 400 years, because that's when it's only been, the word white as a identification only been in existence for 400 years. So again, this planet has been around for billions of years. There has been people around for millions of years. So you're saying only 400 years. So obviously that is a weak-minded people or identification of a people. So that means you're missing out at least, say, 1,000 years then. So you haven't been in existence for that long. So again, definitely you have been deceived. You have been programmed not to know about yourself. So like I say, so I know their picks, genes are all right, good. See that, but again, who's it? Josephine. Picks never identified as white. Picks know their gene. So we know that every human race, every human being have a dark heritage, have a melanated heritage. If you don't know, or you don't think, or you don't agree, that means psychologically you have been cut off. You don't have enough information. You have been deprived, and that causes damage. That causes weak people, which create weak society. That's why unity is strength usually. So if you're living on Earth, because Earth is a one organism, it requires union to be strong. So that's why you're seeing all of the hurricanes. That's why you're seeing all of the natural disasters, because it has been divided so much where it becomes weak. Again, this is something that is being done psychologically, biologically, chemistry, physically, and it create weakness. It create weak individual, and when you have weak individual, again, they're subjected to be controlled, to be enslaved. Again, we all know that, if we do know, because again, my main aim is to wake up my strong brothers and sisters that know that they're in a program, and know that they have been weakened, that merely identify as white, that want to make a change, that wants to make a difference, that knows. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, we have to know the truth, and you have to be strong enough, because there are a lot of weak people around. They all come from see, so like I say, there's ignorant people, like I say, on both sides, that are weak, have weak knowledge. Everyone that you see, there's nothing strong. You could see all of the new buildings that's been built, even down to buildings. The joints are weak. They only look good for a moment. It doesn't last, you know? Look at all of the old buildings that were built by Moorish designers. They still lasting up to this day. Thousands of years. Look at all of the pyramids. Hundreds of years, because they were built by strong people. You understand? Because they respected, again, where they're coming from. So, as I say, for the tired of what being attacked, or so that's listen, that's what I'm saying. It's not, it's because white people that identify as white is leading humanity, and has been leading for 400 years, yeah, and have not done nothing positive. Not literally, it's been backwards, because we all been deceived about everything. Everything was already been built, because there's nothing new underneath the sun. Everything with that word, not knowing where it comes from, because like I say, majority of those that identify as white don't know where it comes from. And if you do identify as white, you're saying that you've only been in existence for 400 years. So think about that. At least get something, right? At least some order, some dignity. Because if you like, look at the program that I'm saying. If you identify, that's good. So bring up someone. All right, someone strong enough to come up. 1 second. Someone strong enough to come up. 400. Yes, 400 exactly. It's funny, but it's because we have been deceived. We have been deceived. It's a fact. If, like I say, only strong conversation.
Hello, can you hear me?
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. How's your weekend been?
It's been great. It's been great.
Done much?
So, say it again.
Have you done much this weekend?
Well, I'm gonna be doing more later on, but like I say,
yeah.
I'm here doing a campaign to get strong people. You know, doesn't matter how they appear, but because we have been put in a system to divide, to weaken humanity, again, we have to correct this. And because,
Just
again,
a quick one on the like, if you identify as white,
yes,
you've only been around for 400 years or whatever you want to say.
Go
So
on.
is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? That's why I've come on to ask.
is if you're leading humanity, think about this, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like humanity's been around for how long? As long as you, it's the dates keep going older and older, yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine 400 years.
They dig, the more bones they find, things like that.
Okay, so imagine just 400 years. Think about this, and I'm saying it's the identify, because I know that you've been around more than 400 years because you're speaking to me. I know because you have grandmother, grandfather, keep going.
So,
Yeah.
so what's your ethnicity? Like, you identify black, Asian, things like that. What is it?
In today's day, I would be identified as black, right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Most of my good friends that I served in the army with were black.
Yeah.
Good men.
Well, look! I said today I'll be identified, but I'm a mixed person.
Okay, so is it a bad thing to be white then? Because we've only been around for X amount of time.
No, only if you don't know where you're coming from. Like, if anyone don't know where they're coming from, that is not good. That is terrible.
I don't want to trigger you or start an argument, but why is it that only people from lesser backgrounds go to primarily white countries to seek aid and help? If we've only been around for 400 years, does that mean we've done it better in the 400 years than other people could have done in X amount of time?
No, the thing is, that has been a lie, because if you know if you know, that's the main importance. If you have strong knowledge, strong wisdom, then you will know that, again, what is being identified as is not true. It's something not true, because what was before the word white, if you don't know, I could tell you. Before you identified as white, what was before that?
The thing is, it doesn't matter about your color.
No, I'm just saying it's a system. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. I know it doesn't matter, but because we have been put in a situation where that word has been used to then identify it as a color. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, I agree. But the thing is,
to clear it up,
about your ethnicity is when it comes to white. What is there a problem being white then? Like, is it my problem, or is it like a you problem? I don't understand.
No, of course it would. If you don't know where you're coming from, it has to be your problem, doesn't it? And if you then use something that, again, doesn't really give you your origination, obviously then it's gonna be everyone's problem, because something is being used that is not true to then, whatever it is, if it's negative outcome, positive outcome, is still being used, which, again, if you know the origin. So I just to show you what I mean. So the word white in Latin is older than English. It means albus, for albino. So why don't you then, because then why is not albino white then?
Because I speak English.
Say again?
Because I speak English.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. The word.
Okay, so I'm obeying, whatever you want to say. Is that a bad thing then?
But that look, that then now you're knowing the origin, but it's not a bad thing because you're now knowing the origin, because albinos in the human race, they are dark to very pale. Albinos are pale. So in the human race, they are dark. There are no white or albinos are pale. So in the human race, because they are dark. The word white only came in. Listen, the word white only came in the 1613, and it was invented by Thomas Middleton. Do you know who Thomas Middleton is?
Oh, sorry, I think we've got a bit of interference here.
Yeah, no, I could tell. 1 second.
I think we've got a bit of interference on the live. But are you saying there's a problem by me saying I am white?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone has interfered. So yeah. So look, so see, this is what gonna give more, I could say, clarity on the term. It's I think it's the echo. You're echoing. It's your. On the term. It's
I don't get your point on this. I don't know.
No, but you have to listen. Yep, that's why you have to be strong enough to be able to know the point. So because it's a thing to be able to identify origin. I'll give. Let me tell you the point. So Thomas Middleton is a playwright. He was a Jacobin. So it was a Jacobin, yeah, around the time 1600. So there was, in the time of the 1600, 1613, around that time, or in 1500, there was again still religious wars going on in the world. There was the Ottoman Empire, and there was the Roman Church, where majority of those that lived in what we call Europe, they were Christians. Again, they were majority, like I say, fair skin, to use a better term. Yeah, so they couldn't, each individual, they couldn't be able to identify who was not Christian from who was Christian, because again, just like in Scotland, Ireland, majority of people, they followed their ancestors, they followed their kings, so they were classed as pagans that followed their kings and they had a different aspect on life. They follow their lineage, and again, majority of those that were fair skin, which mean white, again in today's aspect, they were Christians, and the Ottoman Empire was creating a genocide. They were going to exterminate majority of those that were living in Europe, for the fact that you had the first slave system from Europe, and which again the Slavics, which were the first original nation of slave, they were the one that was mostly being affected, to the point that that's why the name was being, because everything was being genocide. So there was a Moorish king. This is history now. This is real. Moorish king from Iberia, West Africa, that came to England, and he made a royal speech, to identify more royally, or more a better identification of those that were not necessarily Christians, but again were being mixed up with the actual genocide that was going on, to give them a protection. So again, Thomas Middleton, he coined that, and then it was published. It was again royally ascended, and that's when the word was created, to protect those that were not necessarily Christian from being genocide. So this is history that is not being taught. So the word was used as a protection from being extinguished, because again, Ottoman Empire had a stronghold. Yep, you could find all of these terms from You could find it from the Ottoman with European slave depicted in the 1609 engraved, published in Solomon Crossneger account of a 1578 journey. All of these things you could find. That's why, like I say, you could also find King James Leprosy Hospital 1543, because again, like I say, majority of more lighter skin was leprous, albino, or pale. But again, some of them knew their lineage, some of them knew where they came from, and because of like I say, then due to the fact that they were going to be extinct, or they were going to be wiped out by the Ottoman Empire, because like I say, religious war first started the division. Yeah, but look, due to the fact that, again, the Pope realized this, that there were kings that were Moorish, that kept the peace, kept equal rights and justice, then they started attacking those that were, then they classed those that follow their lineage as pagans, and then the Christians started genociding those that were pagans. Do you get out this work where, again, there are people that keeps the peace, keep humanity going, but then get turned around for protecting others. So because the word was, like I say, 400 years, Thomas Middleton, yeah, and because before that time, like I say, the word white was in Latin albus, yeah. So before the 1600, you was classed as albino, yeah. But the fact that this is the fact that the word white was coined by a Moorish king for the protection of those paler family members that were being caught up in the religious wars, to be protected. Yeah. Then the Pope realized this, and then he used it to then create a identity, but for negative. He started to kill out all of those that were of the bloodline. That's why to this day, kings and queens, aristocrats, they still keep their coat of arms, their bloodline, because again, the more you know where you come from, the more stronger you are. That's why even in the Crusader, the more you know, the more connection you had to your family, the more you were able to go on pilgrimage, the more you were strong. You get what I'm trying to say? So knowledge is strength. Wisdom is strength. Education is strength. Knowing where you come from is strength. And because it was used for a positive reason in the beginning, then turned around because now you don't know that reason, and this is a new education. This is thing that has not been taught, because you would have more dignity, you would have more understanding, you would know where you come from. You wouldn't be using a term, because like I say, even the word black, for instance, it's only been in existence for 300 years. So why only been in existence for 400 years and black been in existence for 300 years? The word black is coming from the Black Act 1722. So again, we have been given false identity, false label, and the word black also means white. It's weird. We have been confused. We also have been everything to create a weak society, because like I say, on earth, we're one organism, and if the organism separates from its society, then it becomes weaker without providing information. So if the organism is not feeding itself with information, it becomes weak. So this is what happened due to the fact of religion, due to the fact of again, certain people that created religion wanted to break up the biology of human species, and then it come into now colorism, where it was then advanced by Mussolini from Italy, that wanted to separate from, again, wanted to create a new imperialism. And this is when, again, all of the new ideology from Darwin and all these things, the new Berlin Conference and all these things, so it was create an extra separation. And this is when the ideology of fascism came in, to again continually confuse and weaken the minds of people that was already weakened due to the fact of wars. And this is where, again, you have the type of people that we have in ignorant, racist, not knowing where they're coming from. And, it's a disease that needs to be eradicated, because, you don't see weak people being free. Only the strong people do. And like I said, the more you, again, not knowing where you come from, the more weaker you get, the more control you will be, and the more you'll go back into, again, the system that we're looking like we're going into, based on so much weak existence, so much concentrating on weak things. So we have to stop concentrating on the weak things. We have to concentrate on what makes us strong. And that's why, even, again, other Moorish king, Jewish king, said, again, and this was a speech that was done in the United Nations, until the philosophy that all one race superior to the other, there would always be war. So again, that philosophy that was created, until the basic human rights is guaranteed to all, it will be war. So that philosophy that create to divide, again, humanity, is being championed by those that identify as white, because they don't know where they're from, their origin, how they come about. Do you understand? Oh, someone else is trying to come up. Yeah, so come in. Hope you have been listening. I don't know how it goes, but like I say, this is, again, my campaign to make sure that we get strong people. Doesn't matter how they appear, but they have to know where they're coming from. So identify yourself, your name and what you identify as. Or if not, I'm just sending you down. Not a problem. Going once, going twice. Not there. All right. Ain't got time for it. Like, listen, it's not a week. This is a strong. This platform. My promotion is only for strong people only. Like I say, all of these media has been designed for weak people, because only weak people hide, say things, just to make themselves feel good, because, again, they're not strong enough to correct themselves. This is what the media has been designed for now. You understand? Because everything is really, for weakness. It's not to strengthen. So, nature selects, nature call the ones that are strong. Doesn't matter how you appear, but you have to be able to be strong. That's why they say the truth will set you free. But again, the saying is not fully completed. The truth will set you free only if you're strong. Because even when a weak person hears the truth, they're not strong enough to even move their arms to get themselves free. So you can't, it can't be, you can't hear the truth and be weak. You have to hear the truth and be strong. That's why sometimes, again, the truth will irritate certain people, because they're not strong enough to have a strong conversations, like to have strong knowledge about themselves. And obviously this has been done deliberately to weaken the human race, to weaken the human population, because that's what they want. They want to create a weak society to be able to control and divide all of the time. So we have to be able to, again, correct this, and it's going to take strong people to correct this, because, again, the system that has been created is to be created for destruction. Yeah, so the thing is, and like I was saying, you could see the comments, because, again, what has been done, people judge by how people appear, but they don't even know who they are, where they come from, their background. And this is what I talk about weakness. You understand? This is what I talk about not being able to connect, because this is the device that has been done to separate. People are morally thinking in the head without, getting information. That's what I'm saying, not knowing themselves, not knowing what they are a part of. And when you don't know, you're quick to able to judge. And this is, what caused majority of the problem. So I'm talking about to the people that identify as white now, because they're the one that's leading humanity, giving an example of humanity. And for 400 years or 350 something, it has not been a good example. It has been, again, the most terrible example of leadership. And like I say, because majority of people are not educated, they're thinking, why are people that do not identify themselves as white coming to these nations? When the fact that when some parts of humanity or some cultures are weak, that's why only weak people exploit other weak people. You don't see strong people exploiting other strong people. Strong people are able to help weak people to become strong. So when you see like conflicts, domestic conflicts going on, for instance, that was going on in Congo, again, and domestic conflicts that's taking place, those that are weak, they said this was the opportunity to monopolize on those weakness that's taking place, and things were transferred. But again, it's not owned, was transferred. So the lie and the system that has been created to think that why, okay, we have been doing good system for four. If we've been in existence for 400 years, why we must have been doing it good. The system that was set up is set up to last. So even if a baby try and mess up the system, it still would last because the system is strong. Just like how you try to blow off the and destroy the pyramids with all the weapons, it still lasts because the system was strong. It's not a weak system. So even if people that don't know how to control the system, but use all of the device to hide the truth, it still lasts because the system is made to be strong. You understand? It's made to be strong. So it's only appear, like I say, appear that way, that people are coming because they already had the right to travel. That's why if you listen to them, if you read the Magna Carta, which is a strong document, it tells you those that are the merchants, which from Mercia, which are the Moors, they have the right to travel in and out freely without let or hindrance. These are the rights that were set down by the pharaohs, which the word imperial, the word that was used, imperial. The word imperial means pharaoh. So the system that Pharaoh set up around the world was to, again, last in the time when they knew that knowledge was going to decrease. There was going to be a lot of lost people, and it was set up for that purpose. So that's what I'm saying, because those that identify as white has been leading humanity for 400 years, but has been leading in majority in a negative way, and extremely negative, exploitation, fraud, scamming. So it's going to take them to understand, again, to correct also, because they play a big role in, again, the way the humanity is being shaped, and the new generation is coming. And I'm sure, like I say, no one respect weak people, and majority is the weak people that always leaves all of the negative, the earth, the burden for the next generation, because they're not willing to take responsibility for themselves. And this is the reason why, again, and the next generation is going to hate them, because now they're going to feel like they've been put in a position where they didn't really sign up for. You understand? And like I say, due to the fact that we have weak people, we have the weak conditioning. So right now, even though media is focusing on a lot of weak things, but there's also a lot of strong things taking place. And it's only going to take strong people to change, what is being focused on, so that, again, things can, again, be better balanced and adjust. Because I know that every child should have equity. So again, the basic human rights. And like I say, if we're in a system where it's been used to discriminate everything under the sun based on not knowing where the system come from in the first place, then again the best thing is to do is to be able to know where it comes from, so that you could adjust it to say, okay, and we have been tricked, and the reason why we've been tricked because it's benefiting you. Because even when if you're in a negative group and it benefits you, you'll try to be quiet, because obviously you're weak, you're not strong enough to correct the group and make it right. So majority of people that do identify, because it's benefiting them, even though negative things are, just look what's happening in Palestine, because it's benefiting them, and they're weak, and they're too weak to be able to say, no, that's not right. They just allow things to happen. So that's what with majority of those that do identify as white, because they're not strong enough to correct themselves, to know where they're coming from, and they're benefiting off of that label or that ignorance or that corruption. They're okay with it. So again, and not everyone is okay. There's some strong, because like I say yesterday, speaking with certain strong individual that know that they have been put in a system that to separate them and to make them identify as a color. They know that. So there are strong people around, but we need more strong people, because that's the only way humanity is going to be better, because you don't see no weak people making a change. You only see the strong people making change. So for the fact that, again, those that identify as white don't even know the origin, and the ignorance that they use to justify the origin, it will not weigh up. Because it's like, imagine someone is saying, so what's the problem of being in existence for 400 years? Think about that. What is the problem? Imagine if I say, okay, that you identifying as white only. If you identify as white, that means you've only been in existence for 400 years. And someone is actually saying, what is the problem with that? They don't see the problem of only being existing for 400 years. That means you don't know nothing about the actual earth. You don't know nothing about the rules. Imagine if it's been in 1,000,000 years. How are you going to be able to know all the rules in the 400 years? That's why, identifying as white has only been majority negative, because you don't know the rules. You're coming on earth identifying on something, and the cause of the identification in the first place was for a positive, and because you don't know the rules, you made it negative. You was not strong enough to not to bow down to any changes that was being made, because it's only been in existence for 400 years. And like I say, the word black also only been in existence for 300 years. So on both sides, again, lost, weak, ignorant. That's why we are getting so much conflicts on both sides. So it's just, I'm not talking about one side, I'm talking about both sides. But because, again, those that identify as white is leading humanity on example of how to live. And the example since the last 400 years has not been great, not been good. Nothing to be proud of. And if you are, that means, again, you're part of the weakness, part of the problem that needs to be eradicated by strong wisdom, strong knowledge, strong understanding. Because it will come a time where, like I say, the generation that you create is not going to be proud. You understand? And this is what we need to help to fix, because, again, strong people take responsibility for the young, the vulnerable, the ones that the disabled. And like I say, a strong person don't take advantage of a weak person. They help them, but only a weak person take advantage of a weak person because, again, they don't know how to be strong. And it's just natural. You don't see a weak person trying to fight a strong person. They would only go up to a weaker person to pretend that they're strong. You see this in society day in and day out. So we have to be able to change the outcome. As I'm saying, there ain't a lot of strong people that identify as white because, again, they're only benefiting from that system. It's a 95% tile. You know what I'm saying? And not imagine accepting something that you don't even know, but because you're benefiting from it, it's so good. At least know the origin. At least know the history that you're dealing with. Because, again, it was a time that you was about to be extinct, about to be exterminated. But for the fact that a Moorish king from Iberia, King Cuddy, that came to the UK, the United Kingdom, and made that proclamation, which then give a new identity to those that were albino, those that knew about their lineage, that not necessarily were Christian, because there was war going on, religious wars going on that was, again, seeing majority of people that were going to be extinct. So this is why we have to know where we're coming from. Again, someone else trying to come up. We have to know where we're coming from. So let me know. Are you doing? So identify yourself and.
Oh, I'm Naomi. Has this got an age limit on this group? I am 44. I'm not under 18.
No, it doesn't have an age limit. No.
Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, obviously over 18,
Yeah. I after listening to that other person that was speaking, I sort of don't really understand why we do all know we're being suppressed, black or white, Asian, whatever. We do know that.
Yeah.
Why are we so hell-bent on trusting all the knowledge we have they have provided for us? Why are we trusting any of it? My brain can't comprehend trusting someone that I know has lied to me a million times.
All right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Throughout history, all the history we get told at school is limited.
Yep.
The same people lie to us day in, day out. They lie to us about our health.
Yes.
They lie to us about finances.
Yes.
They keep themselves at the top and keep us at the bottom. Black people run black countries. Normally in sort of Europe, white people are running white countries. In Asia, Asians are running, all of the Asian countries. I don't understand why a black or a white or an Asian person, I know there's other in between, like natives and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why, as a white person, I would think I'm being suppressed by a black person. I know the UK government is white. Africans in Africa are black.
Yeah.
They know their leaders are black. It's not us suppressing them. It's their own leaders. Same with the Asians. It's not us abusing all of the Chinese, for example. It's their own leaders.
Yes.
So I don't think any of what we perceive as knowledge can even be trusted for us to believe it. Whether it is or not is another story. We're never going to know. But we're all falling for it. For example, I've got no issues with black people, but I could be on here with an attitude. Yeah. Oh, well, you're attacking white people, blah, blah, blah. I know you're not, but I could have that limited view, and then we're at war. You could have a little bit more money than me, or a little bit more education, or vice versa. And then one of us is going to be saying that the other one is, like that supremacy towards the other one, when that's not true either. We're all in the same boat.
Again, remember, so the lack of knowledge, it creates weak people. So the more knowledge you have, the stronger you are.
Yeah, but I think it's the other way round, because knowledge does not mean truth and it does not mean a lie. It just means you have been given some information. Now, if we run with information that's incorrect, it's very, very harmful for everyone and ourselves.
Yeah, so knowledge is something that is correct.
Yeah, but we don't know it's correct because we're going on hearsay.
No, I'm saying information we don't know is correct. Information is information. It's not as knowledge as yet. So knowledge is where you could identify. So you have a critical. You could criticize. So that's where you have knowledge.
Do you mean like?
So for instance,
if you gave me a set of rules, the knowledge would be I then have the information to follow and feeding me. Is that what knowledge is?
Sorry, I didn't catch what you just said.
Sorry, my phone rang.
Yeah.
So would you say knowledge would be you give me a set of instructions, I follow the instructions, perform it, and then I can correctly do the thing you need me to do. Is that knowledge?
No, that's following information. Knowledge is knowing the task already. So if you get a particular information, you have to be like competent. You have to know the task already. You then have to understand the things that might affect the task. So then you could then you could then make your own analyze and then you have to use your own experience, which is knowledge as well, then to analyze the situation. Then you could make either a correction or you could do the task to follow it. So information is just that you've been given something and to just do it without having no knowledge of it.
So knowledge is you know, and not having knowledge you don't know.
Yes.
So how do you know that the education you have been given that has formed your outlook of life is correct if you already know the origin of control and they generally lie to us for some exertion of power and control?
First, remember you have yourself, so you're able to before someone tell you something, you also have feelings. You have your separate ideas.
Yes, but they used to work before we was injected with toxins and heavy metals. All of those disrupt our central nervous system, and that's interfering in the nerve path.
That's
that's
true.
why we get we go wrong in life. All of this is by design. It's never about viruses or anything like that. But we was fully functional human beings that worked at the capacity we was designed to work at. Yes. I don't know how old humanity is because they tell us, and I know not to trust liars. But for example, say we've been here 1 million years. We would not have been corrupted at the start.
Yes.
They have slowly formed, got bigger as a group, and now they're running all the health institutes. They are during pregnancy now, whereas with my parents' generation, it was when baby was born, you would maim.
Yeah.
So we're now attacking babies in the womb.
Yeah.
We're attacking the mum and dad's DNA and epigenetics and all sorts, even before baby's been conceived. They already are damaged before they've even turned into a baby, really.
Yeah.
And then we're expecting them to perform, which they're not going to be able to do at that original standard, like that original human design.
All right.
But then we can't trust our own instinct. We can't
No,
trust
we can. I give you an example. Yeah. And I can say this is a part of my organization that I have HL Health Board. It's a new health service to be able to correct every single thing that has been done.
I know everything that's wrong in the human body. I will not use a health service at all. I can, within seconds, fix something.
So check this, right?
Yeah.
I was saying, so there is psychology.
Yeah.
Psychology is how, again, human body behave by the information that it receives. Yeah. So if you understand your psychology, you would be able to control how you move and how you behave.
But the problem is how your natural understanding is obviously very good. I know mine is. I know what malfunctions in the body are. They're not illness. They present symptoms, and then millions of people then go and buy a product or use a service they do not need to use, which is adding problems on top of the problem they've not rectified.
Yeah.
But We're very
Go ahead.
few that are able to do that because, you know, like so many are damaged.
All right, so that's why I'm providing a solution that is a natural solution, because that's why a health service not supposed to only provide on natural solution. It's supposed to provide natural solution if it by providing information that is natural. So look, in psychology,
Yeah.
we have something. One of the major pillars of it is nature and nurture. Yeah.
Nature is what you are, nurture is what you become.
All right. So look at it. So the female or the mothers are the main have the main function of nature and nurture, because again they're providing this to a newborn. So their natural function is to be able to nurture. So look, it says nature and nurture. So usually in all human beings that's on the face of this earth, nature have to provide the information so that you can actually nurture.
Yeah.
Yeah, so remember, the female, the women are naturally connected to nature. That's why they have their emotions. That's why they're so
Well, we're all connected
sensitive
to nature because we are the nature.
No, but what I'm
when
saying,
we come here.
as the female, yeah, they're more, because they're the one that have the head starter kick, because no human beings are born with, like a natural human being are born without coming through a womb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the female are the head starter program for all human life. So nature provides the information that a female require to provide nurturing. So the source, I'm talking about the source now. So nature is what provide all of our nutrition, all of our senses, because if this planet is not existing, we would not exist.
No, of course, we need somewhere to reside.
So there's something over us. Then there's something that we depend on. You get what I'm trying? We don't. It's not humans that we depend on. It's nature that we depend on. Because again, that's why it's nature and nurture. So this is now again a solution that needs to be focused on, because if you're paying attention to what humans can provide for you and ignoring what nature provides for you, then again you're going against your nature.
But the problem with that is every cell in our body is a memory from our ancestors. I don't know how it works, but for example, my middle child, my son, has got my uncle's eye. Sounds very weird. They've got blue eyes.
Understand.
And he's got imagine like your eyes being a clock. Just say from 12 till 3, my uncle in his left eye has got a brown bit, and my son was born with it. My uncle's son and daughter was not born with it, but my son got it.
But remember, that's why I said remember. Look, there's something within psychology. There's something called earth science, life science, and physical science. Yeah.
Yep.
So remember, all our makeup is coming from the earth. Without the earth, we would not have memory. The earth provides all of our memory.
And the programming also provides the memory. This is where we're getting cross-contaminated.
All right.
Because if your mum got told a load of lies and a lot of stuff happened to her, trauma, things like that, maybe if I was a nurse and I was injecting nasty things into her, those genes are going to get passed on to you. And the memory is within you. Your body responds to the same as how she did because of the cell memory.
But think about it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The main so just like how you could get sick and you could get well, just like how you could be injected with memory and you could change that memory, because it's the main source provides for regeneration, which is the earth.
But how do you convince somebody if the memory that they're talking about is a false memory or a real memory? Because you've got to remember, we're still having to fight the concept. This abuse that is going on is at mass scale, and 95% of humanity are wrecked beyond repair already in some form. How does 5% fix 95%? when we don't own the media, we don't own the institutions, we can't give evidence to them because, you know, like everyone wants proof of claim, and rightly so. We can't prove to that person if that memory is real or fake. So how do you get the psychology in
No,
them?
you can't. Like I'm saying, you see, it's look. The thing is that based on what we're focusing on,
Yeah.
that provides a can't or can. Remember, we're focusing on human engineering. Remember, because everything that is existing require a source. So it requires nature. Yeah, it requires
to sustain life. Yeah,
the ground. Yeah, and every problem and every solution comes from that source. If you get what I'm trying to say. So every problem and every solution come from that source. And based on what we focus on, it creates problem or it creates solution. So the psychology is that if you go against your nature, or if we're programmed to go against our nature, we will have problems. So to reverse that,
doing the wrong things bring the wrong results.
exactly. So if we reverse that, it will create solutions. So look, the point that we, all our makeup, even if it's being affected, it's all the time being corrected based on our waking and our sleeping, because we're actually taking it off the body and we're putting it back on again.
I do know that is one of the main. I got a lot of grief off of the establishment from 2020 onwards. Death threats, the lot.
Yeah.
They did admit to me that no matter what they do, humanity reverts back to how it was.
Exactly.
They have tried their hardest. COVID was the more, they tried it from a different approach. Electromagnetic field, the particles that are magnetic in the body, mind control, hypnosis.
So you're the I'm saying. So
you
remember,
have to get out of that environment for it to stop working. You can't turn a magnet off. That's the problem. They learned that.
So remember that, yeah. Nature also select the strong ones, just like yourself, because we're having a good, strong reasoning, right?
Yeah.
And like you're not weak to ignore new information or new knowledge or new.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So because majority of us have been programmed to ignore, so it's gonna, just like an ambulance service, for instance, just like any service. So if you're hurt and I'm hurt, I can't really help you. We'd have to call the ambulance service. You have to call the people that are strong enough. So now,
when the problem comes, they're going to take you to a NHS death camp and they're going to abuse you rather than do the right thing.
No, I'm giving you an analyzation. I'm giving you a scenario.
So you go to someone that is capable, basically, in whatever situation.
Yeah. So because now, like I say, we might think that the event, what's going on Earth now, is because people paying attention to a lot of weak things, strong things are not happening. Just like where we have this platform to be able to bring together strong people, doesn't matter how much false information that has been put on them, they're still strong enough to bypass all of it. See, like the engineering.
So we just knew somehow to ignore it, and we got saved by that.
No, because we have strong DNA. That's what I'm saying. It's because it's within us. You know, we are selected. That's
those with the damaged DNA are probably the ones that are not able to know what we know.
They, for the moment, because also remember in psychology, social development is very important based on what you're around. That's why even sometimes I know you might feel weak sometimes. It's not that you're weak. It's because you're around your environment have a lot of weak people around, so you're feeling all of the weakness.
It's hard, isn't it? Emotionally and in your heart to see all of your loved ones in suffering.
Exactly.
And you know, if they just understood, they wouldn't be. But you can't understand on behalf of someone. They have to be able to understand it themselves to be able to stand on it. But
that's why it's that's why you need strong example, because like I say, strong examples are the one that creates like everlasting. That's why life is continuing, because of strong. Because if the earth wasn't strong, we wouldn't be existing. If the sun wasn't strong, we wouldn't be existing. If there wasn't type of genes that's within us that is of strong nature, we wouldn't be existing.
Yeah, we
So
would have died out. We picked
exactly.
up the,
So
what's it called? Strongest of survival.
okay. So because this is within us, it's naturally within us. Doesn't matter if whatever we identify as, it's in our nature. So this is something that I've been called to, regardless, because I'm tired of being weak. It's just you know I've been weak, so you have to be tired. If you're strong, you have to realize, okay, that's just that's just who you
That's
have to
how you're
be as an
made.
example.
And
Yeah.
you can't change how you're made
You can't
regardless how
change
you're made.
yourself. So if you're strong, be strong and actually have a strongness about you, have a strong standard. So at least you'll be able to make a strong example for those that come, because the generation are coming. And
Yeah.
again, if they don't have a strong example, they're going to be more weaker. So it's just regardless, it's just something that is naturally has to happen. Look,
Do you think
naturally,
this outlook can alter the genes if they're already mangled? Just say you have a baby, it's mangled genetically, and then can you nurture genetics? Or see, these people that was harassing me, and they was telling me stuff as well, they're very, very high up. Now, they said they have tried for however long, and humanity always reverts back. So we know it changes back.
yes.
But is that a generational thing, or is it not magic? But for example, you have a mangled up baby, and your nurturing can alter those genes in this lifetime for that child.
Listen, I've been like I've been to a lot of places. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen things that are impossible possible.
Yeah.
It's I've rubbed shoulders with the highest elite on this face of this earth.
Yeah.
It's not I've seen things that, again, it's a mind blowing if you don't have, like I say, if you're not strong in knowledge, wisdom, if you don't know yourself.
I
Yeah.
suppose
So
it's quite scary when you know exactly what's going on. That's the only thing. I wouldn't say I was scared. The shock of it knocked me off my feet. I'm not going to lie. But to
exactly,
be told that their problem was I was too intelligent and that made me a domestic terrorist alone was really when I just thought, no, I'm not scared at all.
because you just have your DNA is called to be strong. It's just who we are. I'm saying it's like that.
But in
You
line
can't
with
be
that, I
labeled.
have had genome tests for other reasons. And me and my kid's genome is perfection. There is no genetic markers for any disease, illness, anything. And that's what I learn outside of this.
Because as a spirit, even as a soul, we are challenged by life itself to see how much we could remember our strengths. So we could be put in different situations, different families, different bodies. We could be put in all of these scenarios to see if we are gonna be overcome by all of the weakness that's been taking place. Because look,
is that to say that, what's it called when you die and come back and die and there's a word for it?
Reincarnation.
Do you know from any of these top people, is that true?
100%. Of course. Look, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Before, and just remember this, and everyone that's on the slide, remember this. Tonight, you're going to take off your body, yeah? You're going to take this body off. Tonight, you're going to take it off. When you wake up, you're going to put it back on.
Yeah.
Think about what I just said. It's a mind-blowing, but it's to understand. It's
like you get in your car and you're aware you're in a car, you're not the car.
You're going to take the body off. The body's going to fall down. The body's going to fall down. You're going to take it off. It's going to, like a clothes. You know, if you take off your clothes, it fall down on the ground. You're going to take your body off. It's going to fall. That's a psychology, you see? Because in psychology, there's also something called intelligence. So intelligence is nature. That's why in the psychology, you have nurture and nature.
Yep.
Nature is the intelligence. So it's the supreme being. So what's inside of you, your natural DNA is supreme. And that's why
is that what they say the soul is or not? Because I'm not very good with all of the labels, to be honest.
I know, it's what I'm trying to say. Yes, of course it is. Because it's all one. That's why oneness it's just like oneness. It's result to everything. It's a one sort. So like for instance, when you see darkness,
Yeah.
it's just it's just an example of how to, and you see light is an example of how the brightness of the darkness is. It's just one. It's just
You can't
energy
have,
is one.
you can't see one without the other type. The other one projects the other one type thing.
Yes, but it's not separate. It's one.
It's a spectrum.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why even when it comes to oneness, you have like energy. That's when they say energy cannot be destroyed but transferred. And there's nothing new underneath the sun, because there's nothing new. It's nothing. It's just
What? Because we already did it 50 times or whatever.
over but it's every time we are tested to see whether we're gonna keep our strength. Because look,
Do they like us or not? I don't understand what the actual. This is the one thing I don't get. I know everything that's going on.
yeah.
I don't know why is it going on. I
No,
don't get it.
remember again. Look, I'll give you an example. Earth is a test to see whether you're naturally gonna keep your strength. Because just look at all of the system that is created. Look,
Yeah.
ground rule. If you're playing tennis ground, football ground, sports ground, whatever ground it is, you require strength to win. You require strength is you could have strength in tactical strength,
Even a
physical
skill in
strength.
strength, isn't it? It means you're strong in that aspect.
Yeah, because like performance. Remember,
Yes.
Earth is based on performance, yeah, right? So based on how strong you are in different aspects, that's you're more better. You would win. So,
Yeah.
and that is just the rule. That's why even strong people can become weak. But it's not to say that even though they're in that position, they are weak. They're only being tested to see whether, because if you're strong and you're not being tested, then you're not gonna know if you could become stronger, because being strong doesn't
But
have
what
a
would
limit.
the outcome be? For example, you and I are here. We're strong people. There's a lot of others as well.
Yes, I'm gonna put.
So then we're going to die at some point.
Yeah.
What is the point in? All right, we've proven. You're a black person.
Yo.
You're a man. You're strong. I'm a
Hold it
white woman.
1
I'm
second. Just
strong.
let finish. Yeah.
So
Repeat that.
what's the outcome? You know, what's the point?
No, because again, it's the fact that it's a demonstration, an example. Just like the sun. What's the point of the sun being there? Because it's an example of strength. Yes, it's an example of strength. How much you can stay strong. Because it's the fact that if you're not strong enough to know,
going and just until eventually you might break.
because you're being tested, because strength doesn't have a limit. It doesn't have a limit. Weakness do though, because weakness shows that it could break. That's the difference. Strength doesn't have a limit, because strength could fix anything that has been broken. You get what I'm trying to say?
Let's talk about the topic, though. Let's talk about the
No,
topic.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Let's do that.
Like I say, they'll be strong enough to have patience. That's what I'm saying. You see, I'm trying to say
You're
that
putting me to sleep, mate. You are talking shit.
yeah. See, this is where you
Tough
go.
love. Shut your mouth up.
This is where you go. Like I said, I don't tolerate nothing weak. Literally, nothing. There you can't. This platform is different. Anything that you say, just little net is out. You're gone. We don't require it over here. It's only
Are you
strong
talking to
people.
me? Sorry.
No, the person that just spoke.
It's pissed me off as well.
Yes. No, just purely strength. That's it. Yeah, so like I say, it's
Why can't the Caucasians just understand that it's a systemic problem?
not every, some is majority, but some do, because
It's
remember,
all the Caucasians. Trust me.
no, this lady identify, but she knows way
I'm
more
white.
than.
I've got blonde hair and green eyes.
You're not white. You're a
I still know all
Caucasian.
of this.
You're a
No, you have to hold it there. Hold it, man. See, I'm saying everyone has a problem. See, I'm saying everyone. This is it, because, like I said, we listen. We have been programmed to be weak. We have been programmed not to have knowledge. We have been not programmed to have strong discussion. Like I say, just the fact that because we were selected to be here, doesn't matter what appearance we are selected to be. that doesn't mean that we're weak.
So us keep coming back does not mean same mum and dads and things like that.
Never, of course, because we're if look, I give you an example. Yeah, look, I give you an example. Look, it's saying, it says in Acts you can look up Acts 17:26. It says one blood made all nation.
Right.
Yeah. So if remember, one blood made all nation, and everyone knows that again, that human race, they all have black heritage. So we know that we're all coming from one. There's one blood. The difference is now is whether you have this you're weak or you're strong, because in every different appearance there are weak people and there's strong people.
With this one, you're a Caucasian nigger.
Oh, come on. No, you have to go.
It's a Caucasian.
You have to go. As I'm saying, it's just that's what I'm saying. We are being bombarded by so much different weak people from different. It's like I say, at this point, it's incredible how much weakness we're facing. But
I think, like you said about comparison of darkness and light, you don't really understand how strong a human should be, unless you compare it to the diabolical state of the average human.
All right.
And it's horrific. This is what I'm saying about being heartfelt. Even people that I don't like because they're doing just dickhead things that get on my nerves and they're causing problems for everyone, I pity them. I can't help it. I know it's not his fault he got abused and that's why he's a narcissist.
Yes.
I know she's lying that just say 8 men have attacked her because she's got daddy issues because her dad left. And it's horrible because I know all these things and I don't like the person. I don't like their actions, but it's not their fault.
Exactly.
That's the worst part. I can't even go and punch someone because it's not their fault.
Naomi, yeah? Like I say, I want to follow you because you're incredible. Let me just make sure so before you go.
I don't really post anything because I learned not to after the last episode when I was getting the death threats. No, but I do join things like this.
Remember, like I say, the reason why I'm doing this is because, again, I need to make sure that those that are strong, doesn't matter how they appear, know about themselves. Like, know that they're strong. Sense of support. Like, know that, again, there has to be, just like I say, there have to be a strong collective to make that change, because we need that example. And just to give you a reassurance that, again, if you feel weak, it's not that you're weak, it's that you're in a society that full of a lot of weak people and you're just feeling that energy. It's just a reminder.
Like, not to be nasty, but you know when you just think, I'm surrounded by morons.
Yeah, no, but it's facts, it's true.
That's just a horrible, well, it's the best way I can say it. But they're still my friends, they're still my family, they're still my neighbours, they're still in my town. And they do not deserve the abuse that I know that they're getting. And they're so dumb, they don't even know they're being abused.
But remember, you just have to have be a strong example, because, again, it's not only them, it's those that are coming also, the children that are coming, they require strong example. So you just keep doing what you're doing. There's two new people on the panel. I'm just gonna see again where they're coming from. Like I say, you're always welcome. You stay, you could do whatever you want, you could leave anytime, you could come back.
How do I save this so I know, because I don't know how you use TikTok. How do I save this so I'm just trying to follow you or whatever?
I don't know why you're not popping. Oh, okay, there you go. All right, look, I follow you. Yeah, so you'll be able to follow me and see my life. So
right, okay then.
I already done it. So when you see it, you'll be able
technology.
to do it. Now I understand, but again, I appreciate you being here. Like I say, you're one of the strong ones. You're selected to be strong. So this is the reason why I'm making, because again, humanity is in a terrible state because we have been lied to with everything. And because, like I say, the reason why for the top, because I know, like I say, there's not going to be some strong people, but a majority of weak people going to be triggered by the topic. Again, just to understand, I'm mixed, so I'm in the point to judge, because you see, because we are weak, people look at face value. They won't able to have a good construct conversation to know a person where they're coming from.
You start getting insults, like and things.
Because he look like that, he doesn't have listen, I'm in the right position to correct humanity, to judge on both sides, because I'm on the darker side, I am facing it more harsher. So
Yeah.
it's just that's how it is. But right now, we have to correct it because humanity needs strength,
Yeah.
and there are gonna be strong people that to help. So like yourself, I appreciate you. I'm
Yeah,
gonna let
you
the rest of
too.
the panel
It's
come on.
nice to hear other people that know. It really is.
I appreciate it. All right, big Chris. Big Chris, you can open your mic and you're ready.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, my friend. I was just looking at I was just scrolling through the lives and I saw, and I said, I've got a view on this. See the world. See, we live in a world. I've been on this journey for 4 years. I had a spiritual awakening, literally dark night of the soul, and it's turned my life around completely.
Yeah.
Now, what I've come to understand is that this world is duality. We are duality, but in reality, we are one. There is no separation. This is why this is why there's two political parties. This is why, it's just at different ends of the scale. So the way to be is to be. If you imagine the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, well, that is you. That is a representation for you and the creator. I don't call it God because God, I'm leaning into the fact that God means Gadriel, which is also one of the fallen angelics. Which is the Elohim, which is the Watchers, which is the Anunnaki. So there is no black or white. That is an illusion you've been given. There is the human race is different shades of brown. If you stand in a box on anything, you are divided. You are separated. You are aligning with something. And if you align with something, you're against something. That is the purpose. So the way I perceive it, if you imagine a beautiful picture, and you grow up, you see all the beautiful colors, and all of a sudden you focus on one part of that picture, and then all of a sudden you focus too much on that, and everything goes dark. Everything goes dark because you're focusing on too much. You're choosing something.
Yep.
In reality, you defocus. You see the beauty of the world. There has to be a darkness here. There has to be a darkness, and the reason why the darkness is here, one of the reasons, is so you can appreciate the light. The true sort of spiritual people are the people that recognize the darkness in them, but then choose to sit with the light. You cannot get away. You cannot sit there and just light and think, I'm all love and light and I'm going to float through life. And this. No, that is you're missing the point. You're living in sin. Sin just means missing the mark. That's all sin means. There is no good or bad. There is either positive or negative. And what makes that more valuable is when you realize source of energy. That source of energy is a frequency, is an energy field, which we connect to. And when you raise your frequency from the lower realms, if you imagine the Buddha sits there with the 7 colors running up along the body, that is trying to tell you how to ascend. You ascend through your frequency. The lower realms, lust, gluttony, and anger. You raise your frequency, you sit with your heart and the earth spells the same word. That's the green chakra on your heart. As you raise your frequency, you come to your throat chakra. And as you raise it even higher, you find heaven. You see, Yeshua, I don't call him Jesus because that's another lie. Look into what Jesus actually means. It's the very first slave ship. So you're believing in a man that's going to come and save you in a name called Jesus. Wrong. Christ is a title that he achieved. He achieved the title of Christ.
Yo, Big Chris, I want to start. Like, I appreciate as I'm saying, and this is why I do this type of live, because again, the strong will attract strong. Again, I know there's a lot of weak people that this.
I don't see them as weak. Sorry to interrupt. I don't see them as weak because then you're. It's like saying I'm enlightened, I'm awake.
No.
But I'm saying is, if you sit there with that sort of train of thought.
Let me give you an example. I have to give you an example. Look, naturally, the earth naturally, we are made to be strong. You have to look. If you don't know, like, because everything's based on performance. So if you don't know, like, where you are, you don't know how to get to where you're going. So like everything is there as a detail. It doesn't. The reason why, because you have to identify if someone is in earth. If someone has a cut and you're saying don't have a cut, they could die. So you have to be a bit realistic. Yeah.
No, you're talking about identifying with the belief system. A belief system is called a limiting.
I'm not talking to speak down to them, but we have to identify. So like I say, if you have a cut it's not really a belief that you have a cut. It's there on your arm. You're going to bleed out. So if you're going around acting like you don't have a cut.
No, I mean a belief system. When you believe in something that's been given to you, if you believe something, no, if they've got a cut, you know that's been cut. I'll give you another analogy. You know your parents, don't you? You know who they are.
Understandable.
Yes. You don't believe who they are.
Yes, of course.
You know them. So you have to sit there with you either know or you don't know, or you could be leaning into something. If you're leaning into something, it means that makes sense. I kind of see that, but I don't know yet 100%. If you believe something, it's called a limiting belief system.
So that's true.
A limiting belief system is there for a purpose. So when somebody says to you, I've got some information for you, and you go, no, I believe this. And straight away, I listen to it on lives and they say, I believe. You don't know them. So he's not saying anything. You could say, I'm leaning into it. So if someone's got a cut, you believe, you can see that, you know that. So when you say, when I talk about you attach to something, you're attaching to a belief system, not something physical that you can see. You're attaching to something that is somebody else has told you. Same as the earth. So
understandable. So we know that there are weak people. I'm sure I know that there's weak people. Do you know that there's weak people?
I think that it's just people with low awareness, and it's not their fault. This is the game. It's all a game. So if you've got a low awareness, you'll come across as weak because you're living in fear. You're living in anxiety. You're attaching to the emotion that your body, that chemical that your body is releasing.
I'll give you another example. So babies, look, that's what I'm saying. It's a natural thing. It's not something, an attack. As a strong person, you speak strongly so that other people can realize that there's strength. I'll give you two analogies that we could know what's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. First, I'll deal with this one. When you first go, if you ever been to a gym, and you first come into a gym,
I go every day.
You're right. You know a person that is strong because they're lifting 200 kg, and you know a person that just come in that is just using 1 kg to get their strength up. You could tell, yeah?
They're not weak. They're on a journey, and eventually, if they keep persisting with that journey, they all become a different person. So this is the consciousness. So if you look into the Fibonacci sequence, you're here. The sole purpose you're here is for your consciousness to evolve, to expand. And through your experiences, because this is a school, you are a soul in a human body having an experience. And why you're doing that is because then source, we're all connected to source. Source is understanding itself more. So the more experiences you get, the more understanding you get, the higher awareness you get, the higher frequency you get, and the closer to source you become, because you are connection to source. You are a physical representation of source.
You're not wrong. And when we're giving more strong point, we're making the conversation stronger. That's what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, I get you.
So look. Again, just like in performance, you have to know your weak points and your strong points, because if you keep doing the things that, just like if you're in the gym again, if you keep doing arms every day, you're gonna think, all right, I'm strong, but obviously you miss out on your legs. So like, when are you gonna know what parts to develop? Because you have to be able to identify, not saying that. Again,
you're identifying with something physical, which is different to identifying with something, a belief system. A belief system is something somebody's told you. With your training, you know through knowingness that if I do all over, you see, missing the point on this, it's something. So, okay, let's take another one. So the NASA has told you that the Earth is a globe. Mm-hmm. All through history, you've had a globe in school, you've had globes on TV, all telling you that is a globe. My own personal view on this, that is them, the darkness, the Anu, the Elohim, they want you to believe in their creation because they separated them from source. They fell from a higher realm and they can't create anymore. So what they want you to do is feed off your energy by you believing in their creation. And if you believe in their creation, which is everything outside of yourself, you then lose yourself when in reality, everything was within. So then you come back to yourself with the knowingness that you are source, you are creator, because one drop of water, whether it's an ocean or a drop, it's still got the same mineral content as an entire ocean. So it is still just as powerful as the entire ocean. That is you, the source of energy, your soul.
Understandable. All right. So the point is as well, because if we're trying to get stronger, we're not going to miss a point. The point is that we're on Earth, right?
Yes.
We have a body. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we actually have a body, because every time you go to sleep you take it off, and when you wake you put it back on. So you have something to then to identify what's strong and what's weak. So you have it's because we're on Earth and everything is deal with performance.
Yes, but you're still identifying with the duality. That's the whole point. You're identifying with this one or the other, when in fact it is not. It is just one. It's not weak. It's just they haven't learned and gone through the knowledge to be stronger.
No, like I said, we remember we're on Earth, so we're at a point. We're at a starting point. Like I say, between me and you, then as to be strong, to know as we have a strong knowledge that we know that is one. Okay, yeah, but we're on at this point on Earth, right? At this point on Earth, where that everything has become a duality. So we know, between me and you, know that things has become a duality. Now we are in that game, so we're on that stage. So being on that stage, for us to get strong enough to now merge all of that together, because the more stronger we get, the more we merge together. Yeah, but remember we're in duality, so merging that requires knowing the parts first, because
No, we're in duality, but that is the whole point. You are duality because your one side of your brain is masculine, one side of your brain is feminine. The sun is masculine, the moon is feminine. Then you look at why we've been separated, and what the plan is to keep us attached to believing in this 3D reality, when in reality, there is no separation from the smallest, which is an atom, the torus field. We have the same torus field around us, to this plane of existence we're on. Everything is mirrored from the smallest to the largest. There is no separation. If you believe or you identify with something, you're against something, which is why the political parties do what they do, which is why they want you to choose. You have to choose something. You stand in a box. As soon as you choose something, you're against something.
Understandable. Like I say, it's we understand. Between me and you, understand.
I get you, but what I'm saying is words are so important, because
it's very important.
The universe doesn't know any different. All it knows is yes. So if you say to yourself, I'm so sad and lonely and weak, the universe will say yes. If you then say, I am actually abundant, I am happy, the universe will say yes. And the more you sit there with that knowingness, it's not a belief. I keep saying this. A belief is something you don't know. You have to know this. When knowing this, then you connect to your higher frequency.
Remember, just one second. Just remember, we're again, we know, we should know that there are different level of strength. As we should know, if we're on this plane of existence, if you're here walking around buying food, we should know that there are different level of existence. Just from the time when we was born, you know that again you require a certain strength to be able to walk. We should know this. It shouldn't be the knowledge shouldn't overwhelm us. When we get to a certain age, we should know the basics of it, the foundation that again we was not strong at one point as being able to have a body, and then we become strong. We should know that. And then we know that, okay, due to the natural development of beings of how the earth is, we're supposed to get stronger. This is the playing field, the basic playing field. We see this from inception to exception and outception, wherever we go, direction. So we should know that there is a basis, because that's why there is children, adults, elderly. You could tell. They say you don't have to believe it. That's true. So
you know. This will mean there's a knowingness. So when you sit with the knowingness of this, you don't have a belief anymore. You don't need to believe anything, because you go back inside. Which is why I'm not religious in the slightest. I'm not, because I understand religion means religion. And that comes from the Roman Catholic Empire, where they took all the spiritualist teachings, took half of them away, put them all into one book. So like Christ is a consciousness. It is a way of being.
Yes, it is. Like I say, different. There's different kind of strength. Now, understand. So where again we are, because remember we're dealing with majority of people that, because you studied. So you said you wanted to get stronger. You wanted more knowledge. Yeah, lack of knowledge. You have to have make it plain and simple. There has to be a plain and simple. There has to be a ground rule. The ground rule is if you go to a tennis game, a tennis ground, a football ground, a cricket ground, the rule is the more, if you have strong knowledge, strong tacticality, strong physicality, you're gonna win. That is the rule. It's not a belief. It's not nothing else. It's the rule of knowing the ground rule. It requires energy, and energy again shows you.
You understand energy, frequency, and vibration, which is the frequency is your consciousness, so you can align to your lower self. So it's also, see, and this is going to trigger a lot of people. And if this triggers you, that means I'm teaching you something. And if it triggers you, it's giving up an emotion that you need to look at. That's why you get the emotional triggers. So my own personal view, Satan is your lower self. Satan is the opposite of God, world of duality. So when they say they've got the devil in you, you've got the God in you. It is your choice which you align to. Sin just means missing the mark. There is no good or bad. There's positive or negative. Positive or negative, and you understand about energy, source of energy. That's why I don't call it God, because it's an energy. It's not some man sat in the cloud. And that source of energy knows you. It knows what you, so it doesn't want you to pray 5 times a day. It doesn't want you to say, I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner. It's unconditional love. It wouldn't do that. If you're aligning to some religious text, I'm not even religious, but I know this. I know this in my heart of hearts. I don't need a book to teach me which way to go, what to say, because in my own personal view, yes, there may be some truth in the Bible, but it's telling you, it's telling you how to live your life, it's an example of if you follow these rules, because for the unaware people, that you will have a better life. People take it too literal.
All right, Chris. It's like I say, I see that you're strong in, like I say, they like just me said. There's different type of strength. I see that you're strong in terms of your knowledge, increasing awareness of yourself. The subject, that I'm dealing with, again, this type of strength, because like I say, we have to have a holistic strength. Not you have to have a whole strength. So, because as humanity, as Earth beings, those that identify themselves, so those that has weakened themselves down to the point of identification of themselves to be a color.
So long, sorry.
Look, those that that weaken themselves so much down to identify themselves to being a color without knowing the truth of that origin, again, has been leading the human race, and majority of that time has not been positive. So to correct that, or to get a better appreciation of where it come from, so you could have more strength, because again, this has been deliberately used to weaken and separate humanity as a whole. Like we said, we know about the oneness. Yes. Yeah, but there has been device used, and this word, people identifying as white and black, has been used. Remember, this word, people that identify as white, only been in existence for 400 years, and people that identify as black only been existent for 300 years. So think about it. If we are reduced down again, if we're now calculating time, because if we're using energy, if we're using science, yeah. So time, mass, distance require volume. So that's how strong you are. So the longer you've been around, just like the Earth, just like the sun, that shows you how strong you are. So if you have reduced your strength down to only 400 years, when, like I say, people are things have been discovered that the Earth is being exist and it keep going and it keep.
My own personal view that the Earth, if you look at the Bible, okay, it talks about the creation and it created in so many days and all this type of thing. My own personal view, looking at artifacts that they found over 200,000 years old, that was when the Anunnaki, the Elohim, whatever you want to call them, fell and they created their reality. They created the firmament. They created this prison. Now, from what I've seen in plant-based medicine, I've seen the grid system above us, whether you believe it or not. It's like triangles. It's like small triangles. So this journey I've been on has told me, if you want to ascend, it's a game. It's a game, and there is a way through that firmament. Is through being as light as possible. When it says in some of the scriptures, I think heart needs to be as light as a feather. Okay, then what does that mean? It means if you identify to anything heavy and dark, i.e. food, what you think, what you see, the way you act, what you talk about, if you identify with anything negative, this is why I'm talking about the ascension of your spirit, your soul. And when you heal your chakras, you become as light as possible. They're trying to tell you how to ascend. When you heal and you're not living in lust, lust is you could say is the lower one. You're not living in gluttony. You're not living in anger. And you're not living in vengeance. This is why people, if you identify with something, you're identifying with this 3D reality. They don't care what you identify with, as long as you identify with something. Because if you identify with something, you're unconsciously trapping yourself in this 3D reality. So then you have to come down to the reincarnation again. The way you do it is make your body as light as possible by understanding that every animal has got a consciousness. It's a sovereign being. Honestly, my personal view, we shouldn't eat animals. Because let's call it what it is. You're eating flesh. You're eating flesh. And that is a dead animal.
No, just to keep on the topic. I get, like I say, I know you're strong with that knowledge. So one of the things, look, like I say, and knowledge could, if you don't continue searching, it can.
Yes, which is the Fibonacci, which is your elevation of your consciousness.
Look what I'm saying. So majority, when I hear you're using the word dark as in negative. Look, the word, if you look at physics, periodic table, the darkest element is the lightest element.
Yes, and all light comes from dark.
So again, what we've been programmed to saying is not true. Like I say, something, that's why we require while we are here, everything, the earth is a memory for all the truth. Everything is here. The dust, which is again that hydrogen, the darkest element, the dust. It's also the lightest because again, even light can create dust particles. Think about this. So that's why I'm saying the plain and simple, when you go back to basics, plain and simple, there is a measurement of everything. If you use an energy, it's either again we could generate little or a lot of energy, which create mass, right? So based on the topic, because we're trying to
stick the topic,
we're trying to again bring the mass together, make it strong. You understand? Because this is where the point is. There's no other point. There's no about spirituality. The point is this. This is the point where we're at, the mass. Yeah. So the fact that if we're able to again give a stronger knowledge on that, we're able to now get a stronger outcome for those that have been identifying themselves with the word white and with the word black, knowing the mass, that type of energy it brings, because again, it's a weak energy. Like I say,
I understand what you mean, but the reason why I keep going off topic is because it's I understand what you're trying, but it's actually everything I've talked about encompasses everything to do with the same, because you're identifying with something. That's what I mean. Whether you identify,
because that's the system that we're in right now. We're actually in. We're trying to get people out.
So you beat the system by unidentifying, not voting, not watching TV, not drinking alcohol, sitting with yourself, doing the inner work, going within, and understanding that actually everything is designed, and this is just a small part of what we're talking about, is designed to keep you separated. So yes, this is a big subject, black or white.
And also, you have to have strong knowledge, strong wisdom, strong education about that identification, so that okay, every time someone tries to identify you, as you could say, no, that's not true. Because again, the truth, look, if they say the truth will set you free, if they say the truth will set you free, that's just half of the statement.
But you've always been free. That's the whole point. You are all that is, all that was, all that ever will be. They want you to believe that you're small and insignificant.
But you are the soul. What I'm trying to say. If they say the truth will set you free, that's half of the statement. Yes. Because the truth only set people free, whether if they're strong. Have you seen a weak person trying to get up to be free and trying to go outside? Look, because we're dealing with reality. It does it in reality. You won't see a weak person.
Your own perception creates your own reality. So everything you go through is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So that's what I said about triggering. If anything I say on here is triggering people, well, that says more about them than it does me, because I'm saying nothing negative. I'm not saying anything bad. This is just what I'm leaning into, because you know, I don't know. This is a big secret. We don't know until we pass. We can only talk about these things and bring a light to the subject that everybody is focusing on, and then we come to a collective consciousness, a collective awareness. But the thing about identification, the guys who's listening, if you just all sit there and take away everything that's been given to you, take away your name, take away the colour that's been constantly forced on you, take away your age, take away your city, take away your football, just take all take it all away. So anything after I am is a lie. It's what's been given to you. So anything after I am, think about it, is a lie. I am a man. These are all labels been given to you. So then when you sit with that, you ask yourself, well, what is left? Just simple as I am. This is obviously what Christ says as well. I am that I am. That's all there is. So if you identify with something, you are trapping in this 3D reality, which is the intention behind it. Whether you identify with being an elephant, which is why over the past 5 years, they want you to identify with pronouns. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. And every letter, it's like, what are you? Are you a white man? Are you a black man? Identification. They want you to identify. So just take it all away. Sit with it. Just try it.
I'll give you an example. Because like I say, you're very strong. I'll give you an example. All right, because you're strong based on where you have come so far. Or I'll give you an example. This is what in the reality that we live in. This is what it sounds like when you're saying this. Yeah. So you're inviting people to your house. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know your journey, how to get here. Say you're inviting someone from Scotland to wherever you live, yeah?
Yeah.
You know how to get from their house to your house because you have a knowledge of it. They don't know nothing about this. And imagine, it sounds like you're telling, come to my house. And they'll be like, how do I get there? No, just come to my house. This is what you have to do. It's not going to help them to get to your house. You have to first,
guide them.
All right. So guidance require, again, a strong sense of detail.
Just to let you cover, just very quickly, which is also another thing that people have got wrong. Your children are souls in a body. Yes, you created the avatar that soul's got into. When it gets past to a certain point, you are a guide for that child. That's all you are. Because when you leave here, there is no gender. This is another thing. There is no religion. Do you really think when you leave here, there's 2,000 doors? And they say, right then, Mr. Such and Such, you've done really well. There's your door, off you pop. It's all an illusion. It's all a lie.
So we're guiding people to better identify
the singularity.
What they're talking about.
It's the singularity, the yin and the yang. The singularity is the I am. When you put your hands together and you pray or meditate, you are in the middle. It means you accept the dark in you, you accept the light in you, but you are sitting in the middle. You do not choose anything. You don't identify with anything. And then you become light.
All right. So that's what I'm saying. You're strong on that point. So it's for those that, like, that's why, again, my room is to see if based on details, speaking, having a strong conversation, you will not be able to know whether you're strong or not. So the fact that because the topic is based on, again, the identification that I have created a weak system for a lot of people to live in. So again, we're guiding them how to become strong based on the origin of it. So like I said,
you've got to try and see. The thing is this: you've got to be careful because your journey is all about you. Okay, you cannot wake anybody up. That is not your purpose.
No, I get it.
Let me finish 1 minute. That is not your role because what you're doing, you could have a negative. You can give information and you can say, look, this is just a way of thinking. If you choose this, it's entirely up to you because you could be taking somebody off their spiritual path because everything that you go through in life is for you, for your consciousness to expand. So it's like the Fibonacci sequence. It grows outwards and you only get there through trauma. You only get there through pain. I'm sorry for
I get it. I get it.
£1 million in the bank and then understand all this. You have to go through hardship. You have to go through everything this world has to offer. whether it's good or positive or negative, for your then soul to expand and truly understand the lessons that's been given to you.
Yeah, I get it. And like I say, on my platform, I give people the opportunity to speak, definitely to express themselves. I'm demonstrating who I am. If wherever I comes across, that's just how it comes across.
Mate, you come across peaceful, and I get that. All of us, this is just what I've learned. And when COVID happened, I was telling everybody, and I was like, no, don't. And people laughed at me and ridiculed, but I was being led, I was being guided. And then I'm a lorry driver. Then I went back 3 years later, and the people were like, do you know what? You was absolutely right. You know, we've lost this person, this person, this person. Anyway, my awakening happened when I couldn't tell somebody who I cared about massively, and then she had the fully boosted and everything. And within 2 months, she passed away through turbo.
Oh man, you see that's and see, and this is the main reason we have to have strong people, because if you don't have a strong example, like I say again, people are not gonna have a strong example of how to become strong, and they will be able to do things which is not right, because again we're living in this world.
You have to be the example. You have
to have a strong
life.
example, not just an example, but a strong one. Like, we know about examples, and examples might not be right, it might not be wrong. A strong example is right, though. I don't see nothing that's not strong, that's not right. It's very right.
No, if we talk about this and say we're having a conversation, everybody listen, you can be like, do you know what? I never thought about that. That's what we're here to do. You can't sit here and say you must do this, you must do, because that's going against what you're trying to help people.
But definitely, you must be strong. There is something you must live. You must live, because life is something that there's something that are certain. You know, when you're certain, like what must it must. There is certainty. There is very certainty, and that's when, like I say, everything is that oneness. That's if you stand on the oneness, you have to be very strong. You have to be very certain.
And every day you go to war with the devil. The devil is you. The devil is your lower self. So I want to understand about frequency. If you can imagine, I've got no monkey mind anymore. The monkey mind is just the chatter that you get. I've literally got rid of it. Now, your pineal gland in the center of your two hemispheres is your antenna, which is why they promote fluoride. Fluoride calcifies that, stops it from working. It's in your water and your toothpaste. That cuts you off from source. It keeps you lower frequency. And that's the intention. As you raise your frequency, you align yourself. Once you've healed through your traumas, you align yourself to the higher realms, the higher divinity, peace, love, forgiveness, being, all the positivity things. And you have to, so even if the world is falling around you, you have to sit there with that knowingness that this is the right way to be.
Appreciate Magic Entertainment. All right, Big Mike, I appreciate you. Like I say, you're welcome all the time and anytime, because you're a strong person. Again, the reason why I made the room is to get more strong people like yourself. Big up to Naomi that came on, strong individual, and I could see now, like I say, based on the type of room I'm having, based on labeling, the strong ones are still coming out regardless of what they've been given as identity. So it's great.
Can I just quickly reply to Naomi? Naomi, that's if you look into the Eye of Horus, which the Egyptians knew, they knew all this information. The Eye of Horus has got, I think, 4 or 5 lines coming from that eye. Those lines represents the connection between each one of your senses. So that this is where it's the center of your spiritual. This is on a spiritual level. This is your connection to source. So the vibrations touch your ears. The molecules touch your tongue. The smell touches your nose. You touch your fingers. There is only one sense, which is touch. And all of them are connected to your pineal gland, which is the center of your consciousness, where you get your so-called downloads and your higher level of consciousness. That is, if you look at the chakras, it's the one just below the crown chakra, and there's 2 petals, the left and right. That represents, when you add all them chakras up and then times it by 1,000, it gives you 144,000, which is also in the scriptures. 144,000 is the frequency of the Christ consciousness. And it's telling you in the best way they can how to reach a higher level of consciousness, a higher frequency. Once you align to that higher frequency, You then go to the war every single day with the lower self, which is trying to lead you back into duality and back into the darker things this world has to offer, because this world has to offer the dark things that initially feel really good. That is
Big chest again. Appreciate it. It's like I say, all of that requires strength. I appreciate you being here.
okay, buddy.
I
I'll
want
leave
to
you to it.
stay back on the topic because it's knowledge it requires supreme strength to hold knowledge, and like I say, even with my not type of knowledge that I have, places that I've been, people that I rub hands with, I know that I don't really know nothing. I don't talk. I actually demonstrate all of these to people that, again, if you see them, you'll be very scared. Like you'll jump out your body. So, back to the topic because it's what is moving the world at the moment, and people need to understand. So again, majority of if majority of people that identify as white, yeah.
I kind of think the reason why the world is going like this is because if you look at us, we are connected to this realm that we're in. Look at your lungs and look at the trees.
No, we're gonna stick to the reality right now.
Yeah.
The reality this is all irrelevant right now.
No,
The
so
reality
the world is purging. The world is purging.
for the last 400 years, again, those that identify as white has been guiding humanity. That's the reality. There is nothing else. We're sticking to what's going on and what is the main issue. Yeah, for the last 400 years, the people that have been guiding humanity, you feel how strong that sounds? Yeah, I've been identifying as white, and it has not been positive majority. It has been negative majority, and the reason for it is that those that have identified as white don't know the origin of where it's coming from. Why it's just like you just pick up something because it benefits for the moment. So just to give a clarity on why, the reason why you need to know the origin is because it's coming from, again, a very positive space, even though it has been used for a lot of negative. So it only has been in existence for 400 years. So if you identify as white, then that means you have reduced your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for 400 years, and that is nothing good. If you're talking about Earth and you're talking about the existence of Earth and your role and responsibility in Earth, that means, again, you're not passing no tests. There's no test you're passing on Earth if you have reduced your lifespan of knowledge, your wisdom, your breath down to 400 years. So there's no excuse of that. So now, based on, to correct that, because there's a lot of strong people that have been caught into the net of that identification, because that's just how they have been invited. So to correct it, the origin, majority of people don't know this history because it's not told. In the time of religion was the first to start dividing. In the time of religion, there was wars going on, religious wars going on. Yeah, people were dying in the billions. There were genocide happening based on religion. One religion want to take up Islam and Christianity. Majority of Europe, they were Christians. And majority of Europe, they were albinos. Leprous, pale, all the same thing. Yeah. They were part of one family. Some of them kept their bloodline. So that's why some that are pale, albinos, they still could be identified as Jews, as Sephardic Jews. They still could identify as Hebrew. Just like if you go to the Bible, it told you that Aaron's sons and Aaron's children, they were leprous. So it's not a big deal, but it's to clarify the issue. Yeah, there was war going on. There was people being about to get extinct. Europe was about to be extinct for this purpose, that, again, they were using religion to create destruction. So there were certain of those families that were pale or was another term, fairer skinned. Yeah, that were not necessarily religious, that followed their family lineage, that followed the kings, that follows their bloodline, the pharaohs, that follows their imperial, structure. And again, in 1613, or from the 1500s to 1600, there were a lot of slavery happening. And the first, because of the religious slavery, because the first slavery that, because of the word, the harshness of the slavery, it was denoted, it was given as an example of slavery, was again because Europe again was being at war, Christianity at war.
Slaves have been, especially in Africa.
No. Just
Hundreds of
say
years.
it, because there wasn't no slave before that. Just listen, what I'm trying to say. Like I say, don't. This is not um this is not idea. It's history.
Yeah, but
So
history. Sorry to interrupt. I've got to go in a minute. But history is, it says his story, and
yeah,
you're only reading things that other people. So this is where you say you don't
yeah.
align with
Whatever
it.
story it is, this is what the account is. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't matter. Whatever story is, this is the account. Yeah. So religion, Islam, Christianity at war. Like I say, majority of Europe was again fair skin. You could call pale, albino, leprous. You can't identify who's who because again they all look the same. But not all of them was religious. Not all of them was Christians. Again, Islam was rising and was very strong, and they were about to exterminate all of the Europeans. Exterminate. There wasn't. They were very powerful. They're taking over. Like you if you read history, you see. So again, because this thing was happening, that's why you could find in um a Ottomans with European slave depicted in the 1608 engravement published by Solomon Krefniger, account of a 1578 journey of, again, European slaves being carried through the deserts. Yeah. And this terminology of slave came from, again, the harshest part of the slave, that the punishment from the Slav. That's, you're not gonna get the word from no other place. You're not gonna get it from Africa. You're not gonna get it from nowhere. Because of the harshness of the word, it was designed because Slavs was being brutalized the most. Yeah. So that's where the word comes from, slave. Yeah. So you're not gonna get it from nowhere else. So that word is showing you the brutality of what the Ottoman Empire was doing to those in Europe that were Christians. Okay, so in 1613, there was a Moorish king, an emperor, say, yep. It was the king of the Moors, meaning emperor. He was from Iberia, West Africa. He visited the United Kingdom. This is a recorded history. You could find it in the city of London. Yep, his name is King Cuddy. I have all the publications. It's not. It's just this. This is real history. The fact that, again, when he made his king's speech, he used the term to, again, as a royal gesture to better, because like I say, in the 15 there is something called the King James Leprosy Hospital 1543. So there was a lot of lepers where I could say albino, fair skin. That's what it was known as. That's why the word white, before that, in Latin, because Latin is older than English. Yep. So the word, even in the term, it was albus meaning albinos. Yeah, and that's where the same word black from France meaning blanco meaning white. Yeah, so it's all a mix. Like I say, the confusion is there. But to identify, to give a new identification for those bloodlines that were, say, Jewish, say Hebrew, say a part of Pharaoh bloodline that were very pale, they give the King Cuddy made his proclamation, and that word was then adapted because it sounds very good. It was adapted by a playwright called Thomas Middleton. If you heard about Thomas Middleton, he's a playwright. He was alongside, he wrote plays alongside Shakespeare and so on. He's a Jacobin, and he was the first one to invented that concept of white people by that publication, and it was published, and then it was used as an identification to separate those that were being slaughtered and massacred by the Ottomans. Look now, due to the fact that Rome, the Pope of Rome in that time, realized that there were still Moorish kings, there were still pharaohs existed that kept the
Dude, I'm
Nubian-
gonna have to go. I'm gonna leave you to it, but
No, I appreciate it.
Before I go, you know, I get what you're saying. But look at the interview that Morgan Freeman said, and he's sitting in the interview said, "Mate, I said to Morgan, what are you doing for Black Lives Month?" And he says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, you did Black Lives Month." He says, "Well, you know, let's talk about racism for a second." He said, "Okay, then." And he said, "Well, the only way to stop racism is to stop talking about it."
No, look, my people have been set up for, look, they're the weakest part of our existence.
Hang on, let me explain.
There's no stop talking. That's a weak talk.
There's so much division because people are trying to, the only way to do it is to put a single point in time and say, right, everything, we're going to start from a single point, because there's so much division about what people believe, what I said about believe and what they think, that we're never ever going to move forward, because they're going to become and saying, I need reparation, I need this, you did this. Everybody's pointing the finger. And when you live in the past, you're living in lack. You're never going to move forward, because you're always going to say, well, that happened back then, and that's why I'm like I am now.
Have you heard the term, you won't know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from? Have you ever heard that term?
Also, you need to understand that these things have been put in play.
No, I'm saying, have you ever heard that term? It's like walking a line. If you don't know where your line starts, how are you going to know
unless
where
you
it
come to a
ends?
single point and say, listen, there is no separation between black and white. There is no separation between religion. We're all one. Let's have a single point in time. Yes, there was white people who did bad stuff. Yes, there was slave owners in Africa that did black stuff. There's been so much. But if we keep going over this stuff over and over again, we're never going to move forward.
Look, in life, we have to have a strong knowledge. So we have to know where, when, and how. That's the only way you're going to solve something. If you don't know where, when, and how, it's going to occur over and over again.
All I'm saying is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, except in a different result.
No, because this history has never been told, so it's not the same thing.
But there's been different. So to move forward, you have to have a single point, because if you're always looking behind you, it's like one step forward, two steps back, one step forward, two steps back. And it's not just between one race; it's every race, every single person, because they believe something. They believe and sit with the knowingness of just sit there and say.
Do you know about correction? Correction is that everything has to be corrected. You can't leave nothing uncorrected, or else it's going to occur again. That's the whole point. That's what I'm saying. Something has to be strengthened. So you can't just be strong in certain things and not be other. It's still gonna create unbalance. The earth is strong for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It does not leave it off of itself.
Even though you're doing this, you're causing division.
It doesn't matter. It's the whole point. What I'm doing it for, not for you, it's for strong people. Like I say, if you might need to be more stronger, then fair enough. But I'm calling for the strong people, because look, if you look, even after all of what I've said, even with your knowledge, you still ignore the whole thing. That means there's some part that's not strong.
No, I'm not ignoring it. I know there's been stuff. There's certain races of people.
I know you don't know about this because there's something new.
I'm just trying to say that yes.
So how are you going to ignore it if it's something that you haven't heard about it before?
No, what I'm saying is, if you want to move forward as one consciousness and one people, there has to be a certain point that we say, do you know what? My ancestors did shit. Your ancestors did shit. We get it. We know. But as we move forward, we need to look forward as a one unit, one people, and not have no division. Sit each other. Yes, you may have a different colour to me on the outside, but inside we're all the same. There is no separation. Whatever people say, well, it's just never going to move forward, mate. That's all I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying, of course, like I say, clarity makes everything clear. You know, so you can't move forward when it's not clear. There's no way of moving forward when it's not clear. You have to clear things. You can't. It's gonna. You see, I'm trying to say, you have to. That's why it takes strong people, not weak people. Understand it.
What I'm saying is,
It takes strong people to clean up the city, because if you don't clean up the city, it's gonna get messy again. So
well, the only way you're going to do that is to get rid of the government. The government means govern your mentality. That's what it means.
No, not the only way, because remember, the reason for Magna Carta, it wasn't because they got rid of the government. There was strong people that came up. So that's what I'm saying. The only way to stop anything, you require strong people. Because again, strong people is been
but what I mean,
only people that has been stopped anything. So that's why I'm doing it.
What I'm saying is a single point in time. If you have a single point in time where you say, right, at this point in time, the school system, every system is going to be rearranged, you're going to wipe it clean. And from this single point in time, we're going to teach children, we're going to teach them the past, we're going to teach them to live in peace. We're not going to give them sex education lessons when they're age of 6. We're not going to give them a fucking can of Monster drink. We're not going to sit them in front of a tablet. And unless we do this, unless we start with the younger generation from 0 point, nothing is ever going to change.
That's why, and it's true. That's why those that are present now have to make a strong example, because again, what example are they looking at? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because remember, the media and everything is providing their observation, and if they're observing weakness, it's not going to change. So that's why you have to have a strong example, and this is why I'm here, to have strong example, strong people. So again, even though because in everything, the minority is always the stronger. But that's why, again, if you look at the council, if you look at the government, it's only like 100 people to 100,000 citizens. Think about it. So why is that? Because again, they have some sense of strength to them that again they're not using for the positive, which again creates a bit of weakness and a bit of opportunity for those that are strong, truly and genuinely, to change.
Yeah, that's the reason. I just feel there's been so much division now.
I know, man. I feel the same way.
You know what I mean? It's frustrating. It's like even what I'm saying is I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I'm saying what I'm leaning into, what makes sense to me, but I'm sitting with the fact I don't know anything.
Yeah, I understand. It's same. It's and like I said, I only could start from the truth.
But I think it comes from, we've got to teach the children. That's the main thing, the children, because look at a child. The child when it's born is the closest thing to creator. No racism, no prejudice. Just look at that. Then all of a sudden it goes into the satanic school system. Then look how it changes.
But that's why I say, because there are not enough strong people.
Yes. But we're just a small,
but that's what see.
Yeah.
If you're strong, a strong person doesn't care what's around. Like I say, it gives them joy to see another strong person, but regardless, he's strong regardless. So like, just like for Naomi, yourself, it's just a reminder that again, this is a sad world that we're living in now, because everything is being focused on weakness. So if you're strong, you just have to be a strong example and know that again, there are other strong people. So at least you're able to, when you think, or when you have a reflection, you realize, okay, they have a strong people so that you could continue. Because like I say, the continuing of human existence have been only done by the strong people. You know what I'm saying? So for it to continue, it requires more strong people making a strong example. So it's just like I say, for that, the truth has to be set. Everything has to be clear. Because again, a strong person clear things up. That's why if you're doing any work and you're cleaning up, that's why health and safety is very important. Because health and safety is based on strong individual. Have to have a clean environment for this. So if anything that is not left unturned, it could cause so much harm than good. So this is what is very important, to identify and clarify and correct the wrongs based on the identification, knowing that again, when you know now, you have more respect, you have more appreciation, and you could then say why. So some people just using something and they don't know the reason. So people that have more respect for it. Yeah. So
it's like a belief system, isn't it? They're saying things, and when you question them, I don't know, so I just got told.
All right, exactly. So I'm trying to say, so that's not gonna make no strong society. They're just gonna walk around thinking, even though it's benefiting them and it's negative, they're still accepting it because they're weak. They're putting their head. That's what the majority of society, because it's benefiting them, they'll ignore it and they'll continue living like nothing is not happening, and things are happening. You
And
understand?
that's what happened over the past 4 years, where people were just
Exactly.
in their own little universes. All of a sudden,
Exactly, my brother.
when it comes knocking at their door,
Sure.
well, we've tried to tell you the past 10 years.
Exactly, my brother. So
You thought I was a conspiracy theorist.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
But look, and again, I think you didn't look. I'm mixed, so it's like like there's no one from no side can say why you're saying. I'm saying this because again, I've seen it based on both sides. I'm thinking this is foolishness. It has to stop, and you have to take a strong person to stop it. That actually could be able to be creditable to say it. I'm not speaking it because I want this side, I want that. I'm speaking based on the truth needs to get done, and that's all.
Love. That's love. That's love. Love comes
Yes.
in all different types of ways, whether through the trauma, through your pain. That's love from the divine. That's love, because it wants you to learn. It wants you to expand.
Exactly.
So yeah, I get what you're doing, and I do the same thing. I come in here and I speak and I try and help people. It comes out of love. There's nothing. I'm not against anybody at all.
Exactly.
It literally comes from love, because if we all can come to a single point and we can all get on the same frequency and we can all align to living in peace, seeing everybody's brothers and sisters, just living without no jealousy, without no anger, without no hate, without no fear, But then again, on a spiritual level, it almost kind of has to be this way, because you can't have the light without the dark. So you have to go to the dark to appreciate the light.
But remember, life challenges. Life will challenge you, because, like I say, life is always about moving forward, getting better. Because life is always getting better and better and stronger, because it hasn't changed from the beginning. Everything was made.
Maybe it's a school. Maybe it's designed that way. Can you imagine when you leave here and you realise this is all? You're looking to people that have done a near-death experience where they've died and come back all around the world. They all say the same thing. Every single one of them. It should be some comfort to anybody who's worried about dying. There's no death. That's another illusion. There is no death. You are here. It's a school, and then you pop out of it and you're like, wow, is that it? And every single person said the same thing. So this school has to be hard. So the people that are waking up, the people who are sharing this knowledge, you could say it's their graduation. They've been here many, many times before, and they've come to the point now that their consciousness, their awareness has expanded so much, they're understanding things. But that is for you. That is for me. We share it, but on a deeper level, that is for us on our journey. And it's just a school. And it has to be hard. There's no point being an ascended master.
Exactly, Chris.
It has to be hard.
Chris, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I appreciate, because, like I say, you're a strong brother yourself again, and keep being strong. Like I said, I am the life is for particular people. Like, and it's good. So when I do the live, I could see strong people, just to give them the encouragement and just show them, like, again, this is what I'm doing. So just keep doing, because it's a reason to gather the strong people. So you keep doing what you're doing, just like everyone else that do pass through my life. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate you. And I'm going to shoot off, my friend. I appreciate you having me on.
I've got something to do myself. So I appreciate everyone that has stayed, because I seem like, again, the momentum of strong people is gathering, and this is what is needed, so that again we could correct the things that has been done to make us weak, because we need strength. So again, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Just follow, like, if you want, again, for the more strong content, because that's all I give. I don't tolerate no weakness, nothing. So just, again, if you want more, you'll be able to get more. So I appreciate everyone for passing through. And Big Chris, keep going and keep the strength up. And like I say, there's always, if you want to get stronger and stronger, there's always more to learn, more knowledge.
Can I give one more thought just before I go?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're living in the divine's creation and everything is the same, everything is just been put together differently through different energies and frequencies, but it's all from the same source of energy. Ask you a question then. How can you get rid of Satan? Because if you got rid of Satan, you get rid of God. You're living in a divine creation, and what you call Satan is also a part of the creator, the dark and the light. One has to have one without the other. So when you understand there is one, there is both, and they're part of the same creation, this is where you sit in the middle. You understand there's the dark in you, there is the light in you, and you choose to not choose, and you choose yourself. You sit in the center of everything.
But all right. So from that's from your knowledge. From my knowledge, there's only one. There ain't no two. There is nothing.
Yes, one is in one sort of thing. It's one. It's from.
Yeah, there ain't no two. So there's only one power. Like I say, that power was probably bored. It wanted to see himself in all different type of light, but it's just himself. There's nothing powerful than him, so he's just expressing himself in every single way. But it's just one. When it's time for everything to come back, doesn't matter if you're the devil, whoever. When it's time for you, when the game is up, it's gonna be one. There's no two power. Only if you have, like I say, some form of weakness, because if he create, because like I say, if you're one power, you can't create nothing stronger than yourself. So when you continually create, there are gonna be an aspect of, again, weakness there, because you can't create nothing stronger than yourself. Because if you do, then again you're gonna have problems, because that's just yourself. Yourself won't allow that. So then you would get the measurement of strength. So then things can be appeared to be okay, might be the same, but no, there's only one, there's no two. And if you then continue to do that, then in yourself there would be resistance, there would be struggle, because that's the whole point, to realize that you're one. No two, no three, no divinity, none of that is one. And once you get to that point, then you'll be able to again know what strength really means. Because again, this is what all of the continuous programming and telling about all of this is for, is to get you weak. You understand? Even the devil, it could deceive himself, because again,
See, the
he's
devil
thinking
is.
that there's two force. There's only, but even he knows that there's only one force.
Yes,
So
there's only one.
it's only
But what I'm
us.
saying is, the devil
Exactly.
is just the opposite. It's not a horn figure. That's from the religion. There's no horn figure come and take you away. The devil is just your lower self.
There's just only one force, man. That's what I'm saying. So if we continue mixing, just like I say, it does. It's just one strength. If we get that, we're good. We as a human, as living on Earth, there's one. So there's one force. Like then there's different of the old. It's just that's it. But if we, to make us weaker, we're gonna get programmed to think that there's two force, there's some force that could go against the one. No, it's not possible. So
no. If you understand the frequency, you know about the frequency, and you raise your frequency. Imagine the Buddha sits there. They've got them 7 colours. The lower ones you could say is the devil. It's not a horn figure. It's basically they're giving a representation by saying it's a horn figure. It's going to put you in hell. No, it is just your lower self, and you align. You keep going into that lower self. They're calling it the devil, which is against. This is going against you. It's going against the Creator. So when you raise your frequency and you sit in heaven, that lower frequency, which this world calls the devil, it can't reach you, because your frequency is so high that there is no way you can be attacked by your lower self, your survival. It's only the survival mechanism. That's all it is. There is no horn figure.
I give you an example. Strong people respect other strong people because they know they're up for a challenge. But weak people don't respect other weak people because they know that they're not a challenge. And you don't see a weak person trying to challenge a strong person because he knows he's going to get his ass beat. So the whole point of that is that, again, you could always deceive yourself, but when it comes to being strong people, you cannot be deceived.
No, everything's intense. So this is why it's a lesson. So you have to go to your lower selves to understand this. You have to go to the darkest point of you. And then all of a sudden you start to say, well, no, I don't want the alcohol. I don't want the porn. And then you are aligning your consciousness, your way of thinking to a higher self, your self to be peaceful, to live, we call it divinity, that live in a certain way, because everything's got consequences. Now, if you live in your lower self survival mechanism, the consequences of that can be traumatic. It can literally ruin your life. But if you align yourself to seeing peace, love, forgiveness, not jealous, the consequences of that, I would rather have the consequences of living like that, even if I had nothing, than living in my lower self.
Yes, big respect. And like I say, my son, there's always, the whole point is to get better, get stronger, and it's there. It's there for the taking. So people, like I said, I appreciate everyone that come on the live. Big up Magic. Yeah, Black Magic Entertainment. Big up yourself. Big up everyone. If I miss out your name, appreciate it. And I'll see you again later or tomorrow. Yeah.
Cheers, bro.
Big up
Take
to
care, my
you.
friend.
Take care. All right. I follow you as well, so
Thank you, dude.
know what I'm like.
Follow you as well, man.
Yeah.